Hello, this is Govin. Uh, I'm going to explain the association rule mining code base. Uh, so this is a Java project. The environment I'm using is IntelliJ IDE and Java version 8. So to build use like the goal is to give an input file that contains transaction list, out of which we need to mine the rules, and uh, that rules should have minimum confidence and support given by the user. That is the goal. Now, for this project, I have chosen to create the user interface with Java Servlets, uh, which where I use Java text field and Java label to label the text fields, and J button to make like I have made the J button an action listener so that it invokes the appropriate method once we give the input file path. Now, to give a sample uh, peek to the user interface, this is how it looks. These are all made by the Java servlets. This is JText field, this is JLabel, and this is JButton. And this is the result area where we put the output once the rules are generated, like the console output. This simply gives a message saying that your rules have been generated, and so on. Like we can give multiple text files and it will generate multiple messages accordingly. Now, to walk through the code path, once we click on we can set up a debugger actually to give a better understanding. For example, yeah, this is an action listener. Now, that action listener will invoke this class, and in turn, there is a method named action perform. So whenever we click an action listener, the respective action performed will get uh, executed. For example, we set up a debug button. We'll stop execution and we'll run the yeah, debugger. Now we have then here for this purpose I have uh, okay, we can give that sample part. uh, let's copy the path name path. So once we click on this generate rules, see, uh, the debugger has stopped at this point. That means this action perform method got invoked upon pressing the J button. Now, since we have given some minimum confidence and minimum support in this UI, we will convert them into decimals, which by default they will be in string format. Okay. Now this run a priori algorithm gets executed. We can put one debugger point here, and yeah, see that has come to this point. Now we will open an input stream reader to read the file. See, this is the file reader that reads the file given in that input field, and we will have a once look at the transactions that are given. Yeah, this is the transaction. See, if you see here, this is a file containing the transaction list. Now what our program will do is it will iterate through line by line. Okay, when iterating through line by line, it will split the line based on a space. Now like it will splitting on based on the space character. The rest of the things will be uh, inserted into an array. Now, this array will again iterate over item by item in a transaction list, and it will add it to the item list. Now, finally, all the transaction items are added to one list called, let's call it transaction list. This here named it as item set list. That is the same as transaction list. Now we are using this generate function to generate all the possible candidate sets that have uh, their support greater than the given support. For example, let us consider the first candidate set will be individual elements, right? Like A, B, C, D. Now, that generate function, just to give an example, it will create an candidate item set of size 1 with individual items, and it calculates the support, and it will retain only those which will have the support greater than the minimum support. That's what it does. Like I will walk through the code as well. Generate. So first it will see if the transaction list is empty or not. It's a basic validation. Now this find frequent items will, as I informed you, I mean as I mentioned earlier, it will calculate the support count map, and it will compare the map support count if it is greater than the minimum support or not. Yeah. First, we will create the support map in order to, like for each candidate item that is generated, what is the support count. Then we will compare it later uh, if it is having minimum support or not. Yeah, this is the comparison part. So, like I said before, we only add those which have minimum support and to the frequent item list, and so on. So after this is done, okay. So first we will generate the candidate item set of size 1. That means individual items, frequent item set. Now, after that, we should generate candidate item sets of multiple sizes like 2, 3, so on, till wherever that is required. Now, this part of the code from line number 33 to 54 does that. It will iteratively it will increment the size of the candidate item set list. It will generate the frequent items, I mean candidate items, and then it will check for the support count. And if the support is satisfying the minimum support count, it will simply add it to the frequent item set list, and it will proceed further. That's about generate function. Yeah. Once we generate the candidate item set list, now we will perform the mining to obtain the confidence of the rules generated. This part of the code will be explained by my friend Karthik. Thanks.